Hey there, welcome back to the channel. Today we're diving into something truly fascinating, something that gives us a glimpse into the incredible life of the king of pop himself, Michael Jackson. Now we all know Michael for his iconic music, groundbreaking dance moves, and that one-of-a-kind voice that could make you feel all sorts of emotions. But today we're going beyond the music. We're going to take a look at some of the most extravagant, mind-blowingly expensive possessions that Michael Jackson owned during his lifetime. Trust me, you'll want to stick around for this one because what we're about to explore is nothing short of amazing. Now, if you're like me, you probably grew up hearing about how Michael Jackson was not just a musical genius, but also a guy who had a taste for the finer things in life. I mean, when you've sold over 750 million records worldwide and earned hundreds of millions of dollars, it's no surprise that you might splurge on a few, okay, maybe more than a few, expensive items. But Michael took it to a whole new level. We're talking about some of the priciest, most unique possessions that have ever been owned by a celebrity. And let's be real, part of the fun of being a fan is getting to peek behind the curtain and see how your favorite stars lived, right? So let's get into it. First up, let's talk about Neverland Ranch. You've probably heard about it. It's almost as famous as Michael himself. This wasn't just a home, it was a full-on fantasy world that Michael created for himself. Located in Los Olivos, California, Neverland Ranch was a 2,700-acre property that had everything from an amusement park to a zoo. Yeah, you heard that right, a zoo. Michael had exotic animals like elephants, tigers, and even a chimpanzee named Bubbles. The ranch was named after the fictional Neverland from Peter Pan, a place where kids never grow up. For Michael, it was a refuge, a place where he could escape from the pressures of fame and live in a world that was all about fun and fantasy. The property was originally purchased for about $19.5 million in 1987, but that's just the tip of the iceberg. Michael poured millions more into turning it into his personal paradise. The rides alone cost millions, and the upkeep of the animals and property added even more to the bill. By the time Michael's estate sold Neverland in 2020, it was valued at around $100 million. So yeah, you could say Neverland Ranch was one of Michael's most extravagant and pricey possessions. But the ranch was just one part of Michael's luxurious lifestyle. He was also known for his love of fine art. Michael had an eye for unique, often eclectic pieces that reflected his larger-than-life personality. His art collection included works by famous artists like Salvador Dalí, who was known for his surrealist masterpieces. Michael owned several of Dalí's sculptures, which alone were worth hundreds of thousands of dollars. But it wasn't just about the monetary value for Michael. Art was something that inspired him, something that fueled his creativity. His collection also included portraits of himself, created by some of the world's most renowned artists. One of the most famous pieces in his collection was a life-size bronze statue of himself, which he commissioned from artist Jeff Koons. Koons is known for his bold, often controversial works, and this statue was no exception. It was an iconic piece that perfectly captured Michael's image as the king of pop, and it was worth millions. Owning such a collection wasn't just about having expensive things, it was about surrounding himself with objects that spoke to his sense of creativity and imagination. Now let's talk about Michael's wardrobe because, honestly, his style was just as iconic as his music. He was known for wearing some of the most recognizable and pricey outfits in music history. Remember that sparkling white glove? Of course you do. It became one of his signature pieces and was first worn during his performance of Billie Jean on the Motown 25 special in 1983. The glove was custom-made and covered in Swarovski crystals, making it not just a fashion statement, but a piece of pop culture history. In 2009, that single glove sold at auction for $350,000, and that's not even mentioning his famous jackets. Michael was a huge fan of military-style jackets, often adorned with sequins, gold braiding, and intricate embroidery. One of the most famous jackets he wore was the red and black leather jacket from the Thriller music video. Designed by Deborah Nadoolman Landis, that jacket became so iconic that it sold for a whopping $1.8 million at auction. Michael's wardrobe wasn't just clothing, it was a collection of fashion history, each piece worth a fortune, and each one contributing to his larger-than-life image. But it didn't stop at clothes. Michael Jackson was also a collector of luxury cars. His taste in cars was as extravagant as everything else in his life. Among his collection were some of the most expensive and sought-after vehicles in the world. One of his favorites was the 1985 Mercedes-Benz 500 SEL, which was custom-made for him. This wasn't just any Mercedes. It was fitted with all the latest gadgets and features that money could buy at the time, including a phone, something that was a huge deal in the 80s. He also owned a 1990 Rolls-Royce Silver Spur II, a car that screams luxury. The interior was customized with walnut wood and leather, and of course it came with a hefty price tag. But perhaps the most unique car in his collection was the 1997 Neoplan touring bus, which was fully decked out with a king-size bed, a full bathroom, and even a satellite dish. This bus was like a mobile version of Neverland, allowing Michael to travel in the same luxury he was used to at home. Owning such a collection of cars wasn't just about getting from point A to point B, it was about making a statement, and each of these vehicles did just that. Another interesting and pricey possession of Michael's was his collection of musical instruments. Now, this might seem like a given since he was, after all, one of the greatest musicians of all time. But Michael didn't just own any instruments. He owned some of the most valuable and unique ones out there. For example, he had a custom-made Yamaha KX88 keyboard that he used during the recording of some of his biggest hits. This keyboard was specially designed for him, with custom settings that allowed him to create those iconic sounds we all know and love. But perhaps the most famous instrument he owned was the white crystal-encrusted glove-shaped microphone stand he used during his performances. This stand wasn't just a tool, it was a piece of art designed to add to the visual spectacle of his shows. Michael understood the importance of every detail in his performances, and owning such unique instruments was a reflection of his commitment to creating the best possible experience for his fans. Speaking of performances, let's not forget about Michael's extensive collection of awards and memorabilia. Over the course of his career, Michael won more awards than almost any other artist in history, including 13 Grammy Awards and 26 American Music Awards. But he didn't just win these awards, he treasured them, often displaying them in his home alongside other pieces of memorabilia from his career. One of the most iconic items in his collection was the Moon Man trophy from the MTV Video Music Awards, which he won multiple times. These trophies became a symbol of his dominance in the music industry, and owning them was a testament to his incredible success. But Michael's collection wasn't just limited to awards. He also had an extensive collection of personal items, like handwritten lyrics, stage outfits, and even the original master recordings of some of his biggest hits. These items were not only valuable but also deeply personal, representing the incredible journey of his career. Now, you can't talk about Michael Jackson's most pricey possessions without mentioning his collection of memorabilia related to other celebrities. Michael was known to be a huge fan of the entertainment industry, and he often collected items that had once belonged to other famous figures. For example, he owned the original costume worn by Charlie Chaplin in his films, a piece of Hollywood history that was worth a small fortune. Michael was also a big fan of Elvis Presley and owned several items that had once belonged to the king of rock and roll, including his famous white jumpsuit. These items weren't just valuable because of their monetary worth, they were priceless because of the history and legacy they represented. For Michael, owning these pieces was a way to connect with the legends who had come before him and to honor the impact they had on the world of entertainment. But perhaps the most surprising and unique possession Michael Jackson owned was the publishing rights to the Beatles catalog. Yep, you heard that right. In 1985, Michael made what many consider to be one of the smartest business moves in music history. He purchased the publishing rights to the Beatles songs for a reported $47.5 million. This meant that every time a Beatles song was played on the radio, used in a commercial, or covered by another artist, Michael got a cut of the profits. It was a move that not only added to his wealth, but also gave him control over some of the most valuable songs in music history. The catalog included hits like Hey Jude, Let It Be, and Yesterday, songs that have been beloved by generations of fans. This purchase was a game changer in the music industry and solidified Michael's status as not just an artist, but a savvy businessman as well. So, there you have it. just a glimpse into some of the most pricey possessions owned by Michael Jackson. From the sprawling Neverland Ranch to the iconic sparkling glove, Michael's life was filled with luxury, extravagance, and a deep appreciation for the finer things in life. But beyond the price tags, these possessions also tell the story of a man who was passionate about his art, his image, and his legacy. Michael Jackson was more than just a pop star. He was a cultural icon, and his possessions reflect the incredible impact he had on the world. If you found this deep dive into Michael Jackson's world as fascinating as I did, don't forget to hit that like button, leave a comment, and follow the channel for more content just like this. Whether you're a lifelong fan or just discovering his music, there's always something new to learn about the King of Pop. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.